Sorry guys, I got cut off there in the last video. I'm not a sophisticated video guy, as you can tell by the background, but trying to get good information out there to you guys. So let me just go right into part two. Okay, so I talked about the anti-money laundering compliance. We can get around that. I mean, obviously people aren't happy. Money's being held. It takes long to get their account approved or unnecessary documents, but ultimately you can get around it. So let me talk about a really bad issue that is going on. And this is by big banks. You know who you are, big banks. Okay. This is terrible. This is top-down corruption that they're participating in. Okay. So they are now unwilling to give a lot of the documents required that we require as the processing companies, because they want to push forth their own agenda, which is to sell their own merchant services and credit card processing. So this is unfair, because let me explain to you the situations where this is terribly unfair for the business. Okay, a business is going about their day and they have bank fraud, which occurs all the time. Okay, bank fraud, there's fake checks that have been written and they have to switch bank accounts from one account to another. Okay. We need, as the processor, certain documents because of all the fraud going on in general. There's something called NACHA rules. Okay, banks. I hope big banks you're listening to this, because they always look at our customers like they have three heads. But so these NACHA rules. It's the National Automated Clearinghouse Association. That's what NACHA, N-A-C-H-A, stands for. Okay, so we need a check or a bank letter that states that they have a new bank account set up. I mean, this is simple stuff, and it's the bank account owner's right as a customer of that bank to obtain this information. So in other words, why we need this information is because we're their merchant processor. Any merchant processor, Square, anybody that's out there, Heartland, any company. If there's bank fraud and all of a sudden the money needs to start going to a new bank account every day when you process payments, we need a document stating, hey, what is that new bank account that's set up? And these big banks are unwilling to give this document. So they see this as a time to, again, push forth their own merchant services. Say, hey, no, your processor doesn't need that. You don't need that, this and that. Here's information on our merchant services. Sign up with us. Now, meanwhile, this business that's been affected by this has money being held. This affects their business. I mean, I've seen people go out of business because of this situation. And I could tell you, I could look everybody in the eye and say these big banks put these people out of business because of this situation, because they would not give them the document required to release the funds that were on hold. Okay, so what happens is with this whole ACH system, the automated clearinghouse, this is how the financial system operates, right? If money is being blocked from going from one sender to the other, there's holds that are placed. So again, part of these rules to clear these holds are we need a bank document to prove, hey, that bank released that hold. There's no more hold. Everything's fine. We could now start ACHing and doing electronic transfers to that bank account. So again, there's big banks out there that they see this as a time to push forth their own agenda, their own merchant services. This is terrible. I mean, these businesses are suffering. This is horrible. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm a nice guy. I'm very laid back. You have to be a complete asshole to these banks to get what you want. I get what I want. Trust me. I go to these banks. They don't screw around with me. I'll tell them, look, the news will be down here. Your online will be littered with bad reviews. I'll sit outside of this fucking bank and tell all your customers what you're doing, right? So they'll say to me, fine, sir. We'll give you the documents so you get out of here, right? But most people can't get this aggressive. Again, I've worked in this industry for years. I mean, I've been beaten up by this stuff to the point where I have the anger to go after these people. I mean, I take the gloves off and I will go after them, right? I'll get the document required. But again, this is terrible. Why do people have to act like, again, you have, like, literally, to get the document, you have to act like a maniac to get it. So again, this is not right. People, Americans shouldn't have to be going through this to deal with their bank. I mean, again, this is for banks. Banks are unneeded, okay? Banks are not needed anymore. This is the beginning of the end for banks, okay? Your cell phone is a bank, okay? Facebook can be a bank in the future. Coinbase will be a bank. So all these retail big banks that you go into that own all this land, really what they are, they're a real estate holdings company. They own tons of real estate, and they're a marketing company. Nothing they do has your best interest at heart. Nothing they do has our best interest at heart. So this will lead to Litecoin being adopted. Because again, Litecoin doesn't care who you are. They don't care what documents you submitted. You control the private key. You send money to another sender. It's peer-to-peer. It's like walking around with cash. If you walk around with $5,000 cash, you're responsible for it. You go into a bad neighborhood, you're flaunting the money, and it gets stolen. Well, that was your fault for doing that. I mean, this is same thing. Litecoin is the same thing. I mean, you're responsible. You have to, if you have it on your phone. I mean, I've seen people, they have a crypto app on their phone. They didn't have a passcode to get into the phone. I just said to them, what are you doing? I mean, this is, you could leave your phone on a table. Someone sees you screwing around on Coinbase. You go into the bathroom, they're going to go up to your phone and steal your crypto. So, again, you're responsible. But again, this gives people some of the, some responsibility, which is great. Changes the whole dynamic of things, right? All right, so let's go into, okay. Again, I just said this, the banks, these banks are a business. So again, they're going to lead to the rise of Litecoin. They're a business, and they're after their own best interests. They want to fight to keep what's theirs, right? So again, because of their shady ways, ultimately people will say, hey, Litecoin, there's a big advantage of it, this and that. I don't have to deal with all this crap. Okay, let's see if I have anything else. That's pretty much it for today, guys. It was, again, there's going to be a lot more trainings coming on about weaknesses in the current financial system and banking system. And again, all how this stuff will lead to Litecoin adoption. All right, guys, take care. Bye.